Hey everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right, so this is going to be a simple pickups video. I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 titles that I got through the door in the last week. I actually watched them at the weekend, and I felt it was only right to stop by and share my thoughts on them while they're still somewhat fresh in my mind. Now, before I do anything or say anything, I just want to throw a big shout out once again to the lads over at HD Movie Source for helping me get my hands on these releases. It's great to have an outlet like you to pick up American titles like this, and I really do appreciate all the help you have given me. So if you're not already aware of HD Movie Source's website, what I'll do is I will leave a link in the description below to their website, and if you're looking to get American titles like this, go on over and check out their website and reach out to these lads as well. Big time movie buffs, much like myself, and not only that, but they're also doing a special for me at the moment where if you go onto their website and you see something you like, if you type in Euphoria, you'll get a certain percentage off your order. So Carl and Mark, thanks again for all your help. It's massively appreciated. Right, so with that said, let's get on with the releases. And the first one I'm going to be showing here is a 4K release I never thought was going to happen. It is Stir of Echoes. Now, before I say anything when it comes to the movie itself, I just want to show you the release. But it is a Lionsgate Steelbook edition. It does come with a slipcover, but it's a lenticular slipcover, and it's quite an active one as well. So you'll notice Kevin Bacon is on the cover, but when you turn it, I'll go this way, you'll notice that the ghostly figure appears up behind them. So it is a very effective looking lenticular, and you know me, I do love my lenticular covers. So when you take the slipcover off, you'll see the Steelbook it's more the same, only for this time it's a static image. And a lovely high gloss finish on the Steelbook. And I'm loving that the title of the movie is not actually on the artwork. The back of it is, you'll just notice that Kevin Bacon is on the side there, and there's a light bulb, a red light bulb behind him. And Kevin Bacon, there is a bit of spot glossing to him. Again, I don't think my camera's going to pick it up, but trust me, there is. But that's the Steelbook in full. And, of course, you get your 4K and Blu-ray disc inside this one. Now, as for the movie itself, it is a supernatural thriller. Like I said, stars Kevin Bacon. Basically what happens is he gets hypnotized right at the start of the movie. When he comes to, he sees images of this ghostly image, a woman. And of course there's a reason to why this ghost is haunting him. A big build up to it, you know, it's all one of those things where you're on the edge of your seat. You can't wait to see why this ghost is haunting him the way that it is. And yeah, it has a fantastic conclusion to it. Kevin Bacon is phenomenal in this movie. He is very edgy, very intimidating, and he pulls it off quite convincingly. He is definitely one of the most reliable actors out there. Can't think of too many bad movies from Kevin Bacon. And like I said, if you're into your supernatural thrillers, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Now, in terms of the 4K transfer on this one, unfortunately, it's not a great viewing experience. The minute I knocked it on, I instantly noticed Black Crush. It was horrible to look at. It's not a great way to start a 4K transfer. Thankfully, it does pick up after that opening sequence. But I have to tell you, the image just seemed very, very soft. I wasn't too crazy about it, I'm not going to lie. But again, it's how the movie was shot. It just has that look to it. It doesn't scream 4K. It's one of those titles, like I said, you do have to remind yourself that you are looking at a 4K image. But the implementation of Dolby Vision does do quite a bit to the image, and it makes a bit of a difference over the previous Blu-ray that we got. But one of the main reasons to why you would want to pick this one up on 4K is the added Dolby Atmos that you get with it. And I've said it so many times on my videos, movies like this, supernatural horrors or supernatural thrillers, and Dolby Atmos, they go hand in hand, they lend well to one another. And this one is quite engaging at times, and I was massively impressed by the Dolby Atmos on this one. So it's not all bad news. I still would recommend picking up the 4K release in terms of getting that upgrading colour, and of course the Dolby Atmos soundtrack. So yes, that's my first pickup, Stir of Echoes. Right, so I'm making my way on to my next pickup, which is another Steelbook, and it's a Scream Factory title, and it is Drag Me to Hell. And just like the last Steelbook, I want to take you around this one and give you a good look at it because it's absolutely stunning. So, as you can see, the main artwork is the main girl of the movie. You've got the hands kind of just grabbing onto her face. But it is the colour scheme that I love on this Steelbook. Lovely high gloss finish to it as well. And then when you turn it around to the back, it is equally as impressive. As you can see, that's the woman who puts the curse on the main girl. You'll also notice that she's holding the button as well. And what I'll do is I'll open the Steelbook in full. And there you have it. Absolutely stunning. Scream Factory do lovely Steelbook releases. And this is your discs inside. It's a 3-disc set. And it's the movie on 4K. You got the movie on Blu-ray, theatrical, and the uncut on Blu-ray as well. And thankfully, the uncut version is on the 4K release as well. I think Scream Factory are starting to listen to their audience and start putting these uncut versions on 4K instead of, you know, just simply putting them on Blu-ray. So yes, that is the Steelbook. It really is beautiful. The movie itself is fantastic. I remember the day that this came out. I remember those rave reviews for it because it was Sam Raimi returning to his kind of comedy horror roots. And you can't help but think of The Evil Dead, particularly the second movie, when you're watching Drag Me to Hell. It has a bit of everything. It can be scary at times. It's incredibly funny at times. And it is quite grotesque. But not grotesque in a violent way. Just in a kind of... just in a very disgusting way. I don't know how to describe it. If you know the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the premise is quite simple to it. It's about this bank teller. She gets a curse put onto her by this old woman because she refuses to help. She refuses to give her an extension on her loan. And she has been haunted by this demonic presence. And the whole movie is her trying to find a way to kind of break this curse. It's a wonderful movie. Wonderful performances from everyone in this one. But like I said, it is a return to form when it comes to Sam Raimi and his comedy horror roots. And if there's a small chance that you haven't checked out Drag Me to Hell already, I recommend doing so. Now, the 4K transfer on this one looked rather nice. I'm not going to say it's a revelation over the previous Blu-ray. Again, I think it is the added Dolby Vision. I think it's Dolby Vision that you get on this one, or is it HDR? No, you know what? It's HDR. It's not Dolby Vision. But I think you're going to appreciate some of the colours that you're going to see on this 4K release. Now, I don't know if is it just me. I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to ruin the ending of it. But anyone that's aware of the ending to it, it's quite brilliant. But whatever it is on the 4K release, it just seems like the last 5 minutes becomes incredibly vibrant. And maybe that's an intentional thing, I don't know. Maybe they were making you think that because it's so vibrant that everything is safe. But I don't know. I don't know if that's just me seeing that, but it does seem like the last 5 minutes appears to be a hell of a lot more vibrant than the rest of the movie. But all in all, it looks fantastic. You do get a DTS 5.1 audio in this one as well, and it is insanely active. I was very disappointed that we didn't get a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, but take nothing away from the 5.1. I think you're going to have few complaints with it. So yes, Drag Me to Hell, like I said, if you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to do so, and if you do decide to do so, check out this 4K release. Right, so that takes me on to my next title, and this one is such a huge deal to me. I am a massive fan of this movie. Not only that, but I only ever owned it on DVD. A Blu-ray release never came out over here. So you can imagine how excited I was when it got announced it was coming out on 4K. The title is Snake Eyes. Now this is a Kino Lorber release, and this movie is directed by Brian De Palma, and I think this one is highly, highly underrated. It is your typical conspiracy movie, the type of movie that he specialises in. I think he done a wonderful job with this one. It stars Nicolas Cage and Gary Sinise. And it's about this boxing fight that's going on in this huge arena. Nicolas Cage is a cop. There's a senator behind him who gets assassinated. And basically, it's all about Nicolas Cage trying to unravel the mystery behind why this senator was assassinated. Like I said, your typical Brian De Palma movie. I am a huge fan of Gary Sinise. I think he is so reliable. You don't hear much from him nowadays, which is an absolute shame, but he is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. Much like Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is kind of overacting best, but I highly recommend checking this one out, particularly if you are a Brian De Palma fan. And I have to tell you, for the most part, the 4K transfer on this one looked absolutely stunning. I'm not going to complain too much because, like I said, I only had a DVD release. But the one little issue I had with it, there looks like there was some added sharpening to the image. But other than that, I think you are going to be blown away by how good this actually looks. Again, this movie lends well to Dolby Vision. It's a very colourful movie. And this one really does shine. The black levels in particular look so amazingly deep as well. I couldn't have asked for more. I really couldn't have. It was a pleasure revisiting this one and seeing it looking as good as it does. It does come with a DTS 5.1 audio, and it's a very good active mix. Just check out the scene at the start with the boxing fight. It is incredibly active. And I have to do a big shout out when it comes to the cinematography in this movie as well. It is incredible. There's so many scenes that go on and on and on without any edits. It's just amazing to look at. It really is. So yeah, Snake Eyes, if you haven't seen it already, again, I recommend looking into it. And if you can get your hands on this 4K release, please do. I think you'll be massively impressed by what you see here. So yes, Snake Eyes. Right, so I'm going to make my way onto another Scream Factory title, and it is Wes Craven's Shocker. I cannot believe I'm actually holding this movie in my hands on 4K. Whoever thought the day would ever come, and all the credit in the world has to go to Scream Factory for giving us titles like this on 4K. Now this one stars Peter Berg, and if you're not aware of Peter Berg, he actually had a very successful, or has a very successful directing career. Directed some of my favourites, the likes of Deepwater Horizon, Lone Survivor, and Patriots Day. All Mark Wahlberg movies as well, based on true stories. Massive fan of him as a director, but yes, he started out as an actor. Now this one is a very underrated Wes Craven movie. It's quite simple. This character here, what's his name? Horace Pinker. He's a serial killer. He gets captured. He gets the electric chair. Of course, he doesn't die. As a matter of fact, he can move through electricity. It's a pretty cool concept. It sounds daft, I know, but trust me, it works. Not only that, but when you're watching this one, you can't help but think of A Nightmare on Elm Street, because there is times in it where Peter Berg's character falls asleep and he's able to see what he's doing. So yes, huge connections towards A Nightmare on Elm Street. Not only that, but the 4K transfer on this one, folks, I am not kidding, is absolutely astonishing. I'm always saying it's for me, when it comes to 4K upgrades, it's the implementation of HDR or Dolby Vision is where you're getting that upgrade, and that's exactly what you're getting with this one. The colours look extraordinarily vibrant. I am not kidding. When you see some of those outdoor scenes, when you get all that natural light, it looks like it's modern. It really does. It's an absolutely amazing looking 4K transfer on this one. Might be one of Scream Factory's best. I kid you not. I was so impressed by it. Not only that, but it also comes with a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. And wait till you hear the opening sequence to it, where I think is it an Alice Cooper song? No More Mr. Nice Guy. Wait till you hear that playing through Dolby Atmos. It's coming out of every single speaker. I was blown away by the Atmos on this one. And if you're a fan of this movie, trust me, you need to get this release into your collection. You are going to be blown away by the 4K transfer. You're going to be equally blown away by its Dolby Atmos as well. It's a fantastic release. And once again, all the credit in the world to Scream Factory for putting so much effort when it comes to transfers and audio, particularly on obscure titles like this one. I couldn't be happier with how it's turned out. So there you have it, folks. Wes Craven's Shocker. Right, so that takes me on to the last title that I'm going to be showing in this video. It's another Scream Factory release, and it is George Romero's Land of the Dead. Now, this one is hugely, hugely underrated. I've said it so many times, but this movie lives in the shadow of the trilogy that came before it. But I was always a fan of it. I remember seeing it for the first time on the big screen. I had a wonderful, wonderful time. It doesn't come remotely close to that original trilogy. but it's still a very, very solid sequel. Now, I think George Romero had a horrible time making this movie because it was a big studio movie. I think it had a budget of around maybe 18 to 20 million, which is unheard of when it comes to a Romero dead movie. And there was a lot of deadlines that he had to hit, and there was a lot of studio interference as well. And apparently he had such a miserable time making this one, and it's probably why he went to more independent movies after this one. But I have to tell you, for the most part, he done a wonderful job on this one, despite all the pressure he was under. Like I said, I am a big fan of it. Now, in terms of the 4K transfer on this one, I have to tell you, I wasn't blown away by it. Might be my least favourite Scream Factory title. I just didn't see the 4K upgrade. The HDR added little to nothing to it, but not only that, the movie can be quite dark at times, and the blacks are nowhere near as deep as I would expect for a movie like this one. I'm not saying that the blacks were greyed out, but they were just, like I said, it just weren't as deep as I wanted them to be. And if they were, chances are it would have made a bit of a difference to this 4K release. But like I said, the HDR doesn't add much to it when you stack it up against the previous Blu-ray. It doesn't scream 4K resolution either. It looks like a very, very good Blu-ray. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad transfer. I think though when you stack it up against the previous Blu-ray, you're going to be somewhat underwhelmed by it. But there's a positive, and it is on the audio side, because once again, we are getting a Dolby Atmos soundtrack on this one, and it goes without saying, it sounds fantastic. It really does. A zombie movie, a dead movie on Dolby Atmos? Come on, you know it's going to work, and it works incredibly well. I'm not going to say it's the most active mix you're ever likely to hear, but when things do kick in, when the action does start to happen, I think you're going to be massively impressed with the Dolby Atmos on this one. So for that reason alone, I think it's worth picking up. So there you have it, folks, Land of the Dead, and that is the last title that I'm going to be showing in this video. So there you have it. So as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you could do, share your thoughts on all the titles that I featured in this video. Very curious to hear what you think out there. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.